Welcome to Calcast, your Create International podcast. God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 219. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen. Steve Addison is a great podcaster and very passionate about movements of peoples to Christ. And Steve has his own podcast, very successful podcast, with over 226 podcast episodes. And the name of his podcast is On the Road to No Place Left. And we highly recommend that you subscribe to his podcast because he has an overwhelming library of exciting topics related to movements. And if you want to learn more about movements, this is the place to find the information, and he has lots of training and tools and other resources that will really make your investigation of this topic successful. So we really want to thank Steve Addison and his partners there at movements.net/podcast. That's how you can find it, at movements.net/podcast, for all of the resources that he has given us for these next few podcasts. Thank you very much, Steve.
I was so excited. I never saw that happen. Never saw it multiply so fast. And the best part was I was enjoying that people are obedient and they are trusting into the vision. They are trusting into the Lord, that Lord can do it. And they were seeing the fruits in front of them. I'll share an example about it. So, 2010 Christmas, a family was invited into our church with one of the existing families. Their husband's name is also as my name, Deepak, and wife's name is Pooja. So Deepak and Pooja came. After the Christmas service, they went back. In 2011, when we had our first training, and that Sunday, Deepak and Pooja walked into the church. And I thought, man, they are just new people. How can they understand what we are going to do? Me who told them, today we are going to do different. I'll just pray for you and you can leave. And I prayed for them and they left. 10 minutes later, while I was doing interpretation for Rick and the training started, I saw Deepak and Pooja walk back into the church. I couldn't stop them. While the training was going on, while we were learning about sharing the testimony and the Roman road and practicing it, Pooja gave her life to Christ. We didn't know that. After a week, I got a call from the brother who had invited Deepak and Pooja to the church. And this brother told me, oh, they want you to come to their house. Their landlord wants to meet with you. And I said, okay, great, I can go. And as we reached their house, I came to know their landlord was one of the prominent lawyers in our city. I thought, okay, something bad has happened now. And he just said one thing. He said, I just wanted to know, what did you do with Pooja? We were fed up with her. We wanted them to vacate the house because she used to quarrel so much with people. And from last 1 week, she is so quiet. So I wanted to know, what did you do? So I told him, sir, only I shared my life with her. What do I believe? So we went down to Pooja and Deepak's house, and in their one-room house, there were 8 different people sitting there. And I asked Deepak and Pooja, how can I help? And they said, oh, we told them they are sinners and they need to accept Jesus. Apart from this, we could not tell them anything. So we called you so that you can share now. So it was an opportunity for me. I told this brother who called me there, Vachandev, Vachandev, why don't you share your testimony? I'll share the Roman road. And we shared, owning the vision. 2 people walked out. They said, no, we don't want to hear it. 6 people gave their life to Christ. 2 weeks later, out of those 6, 3 were baptized. So joyful that everything was multiplying. People were seeing people lives change. So next thing was the big change. We decided I cannot go to all those 23 places. We are training these people up. We have raised them as leaders now. Let's give them the authorities. So the first authority, which we decided how we can give away authority, is that now it's a rule in the church. The one who shares the gospel is the one who baptizes them. Don't come to the main leaders to the church to have a baptism service or do baptisms. If you have shared the gospel and the person has accepted Christ through you, it's your responsibility to baptize. After 2013, Steve, I have baptized only this year because some of the children grew up in the church and they wanted to take baptism from me. Giving away authorities like that, baptism, asking them to keep the tithes and offering at their own places, use it to advance the kingdom, whatever way they think it needs to be used. People started. One of my friends, he came down, he saw the church, and he said, what did you do with your dead church? When you have trained someone theologically, and I'm a teacher of him, and he comes down, but he's my friend. He comes down and say, what did you do to your dead church? So I realized, oh man, this guy was thinking my church was dead. So I shared with him. I shared with few of my friends, what did we do? And they went ahead, they visited some groups and they saw it, what was happening there. They asked me if I can come down and train there. We were 3 main people in Gurgaon who were trying to practice the whole 4 fields training. One of Eric's friends was in the town. He came down, Joey, and we asked him, okay, what's next? What we can do next? The guys are asking, we need to train the churches. We want to do it. Let's do it. We became as a team of 4 people and went ahead and started training 5 different churches in Haryana. Same thing happened. The churches started to grow. We needed to sit down with them and ask them to release the authority to people. And by more and more villages started to cover. By end of 1180 churches, but we had 100 plus villages where people had gone. Eventually, we shared the gospel. We got together, all of us, and we started meeting every month. We became a team. Bond in our team is still strong, but it was on the basis of reaching out and fulfilling the vision. We wanted to see every place in Haryana, every district having a multiplying churches. We wanted to see every UUPG finished in the state. How we came to know about UUPG? I would say this because I always feel this in my life. There were many people in different seasons who have mentored me. And I praise God for that. Lord had put right people in my life. It was Eric who showed me how we can go ahead and see the multiplication happen. Joey came in my life and I love Joey. So one day he walks to my house, he sits in front of me and says, what do you want to see in your church? Now the church is growing, things are happening. What do you really want to see? And I said, I want to see that every people, every caste or people group should be into the churches. And he said, how is that going to happen? So remember, Steve, I'm a pastor. I know how to answer things. So I just said, okay, talking about caste in India is a big issue. So what I'll do is I'll pray for them that they come to the church. I don't want to ask my people to go and try to engage caste, because we see casteism is a big problem here. So Joey looked into my eyes and said, by your prayer, people are going to come to the church. How is that going to happen? And he pulled out a list of UUPGs and placed in front of me. If you don't go out, if you don't tell your people to share, this is the list of 33 UUPGs in your own state. You will be held responsible by the Lord for not reaching out to them.
You're listening to God Network News Podcast with your host, Cal Curtis. Look up our website at godnetworknews.com.
Hearing that challenge, I thought, man, this guy is really nuts. So I said, okay, we'll pray about it. And he said, when are you going to pray about it? This guy is not leaving me, man. I need to do something. So I said, okay, I'll pray for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Good. I'll give you a call on Saturday and talk about it. And they said, I'll fast and pray. And he said, brother, I'm going to fast with you and pray with you. And if you want, I can come down to your house and we can sit and pray together. So 3 days of fasting prayer, and Lord finally convinced me with that. He gave me Psalms 2:8. Ask of me and I will give you nations as an inheritance. So Joey called on Sunday and he said, I'm coming down to have fellowship with you. What did Lord tell you? And I just said, Joey, read Psalms 2:8. This is the verse which Lord gave me after 3 days of fasting. So I asked we decided, okay, let's check out on the list of people groups coming into our churches in all of the places, those 5 churches in Haryana, our churches in Gurgaon. Let's check out all those 100 plus villages which are coming to see. Let's see that. And when we checked out, so out of those 33 lists, we had already 10 people, 10 UUPGs, the Unreached, Unengaged people groups in our churches. We were so excited. Let's start training those people who have come from these UUPGs. We train them and ask them, go back to your own people. Fear of that shame was also there, that I cannot go to my own people. So I will go to my friends, I will go to my neighbors, I will go to my workplace people, but I will not go to my own people. I can share with my own family, but I could not share with my uncles. They would immediately say, oh, you have defiled us. You have now become a Christian. Experienced that in my own family. My grandmother died, and I went for her funeral into my hometown village. And my father and my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, they just told me, all my uncles and aunts, they told me, we don't want a Christian in our midst. You should leave the house. So coming out of that fear, going back to my own caste people was huge for us.
That would be true for people in different castes, that they were very reluctant to go beyond their immediate family because the caste would reject them.
We were quite surprised when we took the bold step, went ahead, started doing it. We were surprised that things were entirely different. I went back to my uncle's house, shared the gospel with him. He and his wife accepted Christ. But it took me from 2001 till 2012. When Joey started challenging us, I did it. People started seeing it, that their families are coming to know the Lord. Their own relatives are coming to know the Lord. That was huge for us. But the major thing, Steve, what next was, in 2013, Joey asked me, or in one of our training times, he just asked me one thing. Why do you hate Muslims? And I said, no, I don't hate them. So he said, why do you fear them then? I said, I don't fear them. Then he asked me, looking in my eyes, why is still not in last 2 years, not even I have heard about a single Muslim that you have gone out and shared gospel with. That was really a moment. What should I do? Joey asked me, looking into my eyes, tell me, you are fearful or you are full of hate for them? And it went back and needed a time of confession. I asked and told him, brother, I really hate them. We have our own history with them. We have, I had friends in my college and betrayed. I feel betrayed. Probably they also feel betrayed from me, but we didn't end up well. So he said, okay, what's next then? Are you going to live with that hate or you're going to change that? Deep desire you have this hate, and how can you stand and sing song of worship? I confess and praise God. Kevin Greason was called in and he trained our team. And by the time, in those 2 years, with my few friends in the beginning, we have become a strong team of 9 people. With those 9 people team, we were reaching out all over our state, and we were reaching out a lot of other churches, not from our own only, but we were training BIVM, GFA, we were training Assemblies of God, we were training a lot of churches. We went ahead to share the gospel with. We call them our cousins now. We started seeing the results. 2013, one of the brothers up from mountains in north, he came down and he asked a help from us. And he said, I want to go out and share the gospel around my place. I want to go out and share the gospel with my friends. And I have been sharing, but till now I'm successful with only 7 people. So we decided we will go up there and train these 7 guys. So we went up there, trained these 7 people. Today, those 7 people have become 37 churches. And altogether, we are around 1,800 churches, 1,300 around leaders, which we have planned to train. Already, I think 540 are in the process of getting trained. So when I say the process of getting trained is, they are practitioners with 4 field. They are trained with foundations. They are trained with cousin engagement. And after foundations, they go ahead for next round of training. That is, we call confessions, the Baptist faith and message. 2017, Lord put this in my heart that now we have a strong team. Things are good. And I need to move out of the team. So prayed for 3 years, got confirmed, and I have moved to Bangalore. Trusting Lord, what I saw in North, having a strong team, and even bringing different other networks as a team together called North India team, apart from my own leadership team. Trusting God to see that happen in South India and islands. Want to see that happen. See multiplying churches in villages, see multiplying churches in cities, see multiplying leaders in South India, and a strong team of multipliers coming up in South India. There are churches in cities in South India, somewhere in villages also. But my recent experience, even in Bangalore, which is quite famous for having big, huge churches, I stepped out with one of the guys I'm training into villages of Bangalore. Drove down for 3 hours. Couldn't find one church.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to help us continue to bring exciting stories fresh from the field. Visit our website at godnetworknews.com and select the PayPal link on the right side of the page, or consider becoming a Patreon partner to receive access to more valuable materials exclusive to our members.